And tonight, House Majority Whip Kevin McCarthy calling President Obama a roadshow president. What does he mean by that? Congressman McCarthy joins us so he can tell us. Roadshow president. What do you mean, sir?
Well, what roadshow is, this is not the time to be out campaigning. This is the time to solve something. He's going on the road tomorrow, 150 miles away, to, again, hype this up, try to scare the American public, when he could just go 1 mile down and talk to Harry Reid. You know, look, we're talking about $85 billion. We borrow $85 billion every 28 days. All we're talking about is making a cut of what we borrow in less than a month.
Do you agree with Senator Tom Coburn, then, that the crisis is made up?
No, but by far. Look, we have more revenue in 2013 projected than in any other time. And what's the president asked for? To take more from the taxpayer. When, if you can't handle a 2.3% cut, how can we put this place back in order? I don't understand the hysteria. When you look at the numbers, many of the things go back to what the funding was in 2009. Were planes not flying then? Were people not getting their first responders then? No. And why is the president creating the hysteria when really we should get this government under control?
Why is he doing that if he's doing that?
Because he's never gotten off the campaign trail. And that's what's wrong. That's why I call him a roadshow president. You know, the saddest part about all this, normally in divided government, we achieve big things. You can't achieve something if he's out campaigning all the time. You've got to be ever to govern, and you've got to be willing to lead. We're willing to work with him, but he's got to come back. Is
there any loophole you are willing to close or any deduction you're willing to get rid of?
Oh, look, if you want to talk about tax reform, we're sitting working on reform. And you want to know the difference of what we're doing here? Dave Camp has put together 11 working groups, bipartisan, Republican and Democrat, that are sitting on Ways and Means looking at the overhaul of a tax reform. So we're willing to do everything to grow the economy, not to sit back here and just try to take out of the economy to harm it.
So, I mean, no tax increases. Is that what you're saying? No, you'll have no tax increase?
You've got more money going into the coffers today than at any other time in the country.
Does that mean no
you don't
tax?
need more money. You need to cut spending.
So you're saying no tax increase? I just wanted.
There's no tax increase is coming out of this House. Okay. There is no need for a tax increase out of this House. There is more money going in than any other time. In the last 4 decades, on average, we brought in 17.9% of GDP. Now we're going to bring in 19.1. The problem is we're spending more.
You know, it's sort of curious that the president says, you know, his door is always open, he's willing to talk, and everybody on Capitol Hill is willing, they're waiting to talk to the president. They say he won't talk to them, that he's on a road show. I mean, what seems to be the problem? I mean, it's 4 days from the, you know, this deadline.
You know what the biggest problem is? We don't have enough buses to move all Congress 150 miles to show up at his campaign rallies. Those would need to stop. He needs to start leading in this process. Remember what he did. He came up with this idea of sequestration, of the way to cut, right? Then he tries to disown it. Then he tells you after it's passed, if you pass a bill, I will veto it. The House passes bills that makes the cuts in better places, and the Senate won't take it up. So now we're 4 days away from it. Now he thinks, oh, this might be an issue, and he goes and tries to create hysteria and go across the country. That's wrong.
Is there anything that can be done in 4 days, other than postponing it?
Look, it is not going to break us by going through. Can we cut in a better manner? Yes. Do we need to make more cuts and more efficient cuts? Yes, we can. But I don't think in 4 days, with the president not even willing to down and talk to Harry Reid, I don't see how you get there.
So what does happen? I mean, we roll through 4 days, and actually we have the sequestration. There's some cuts that can be changed, obviously, the next day, the day after. It can be changed on March 2nd. But tell me what's going to happen.
Well, I think you'll hit the sequestration. Towards the end of the month, you have what is called the continuing resolution, the funding of government, because the Senate has not passed the budget in almost 4 years. I love to remind people the iPad was not even introduced the last time they passed one. So what we'll have to do is fund government for the rest of the year. The House will take action next week that funds it, so you bring certainty there, and we'll start working towards putting this path when we pass a budget in April that puts us on balance in the next 10 years.
So there will be those cuts. The sequestration cuts will go into effect.
Yes.
And you think that this is just that it's not going to be catastrophic. It's not going to throw us into recession. It's not going to shut down our military. It's not going to do all these things.
No, if the level is back to 2000.
I'm obviously being sarcastic.
The only thing that catastrophic that it will be is it will be shocking that we kept our word in Washington. That we said we'd do this 18 months ago, but the president wanted to fight, change the plan of what he said he would agree to, and that we followed through. Maybe that would be catastrophic, that people finally would say Washington kept their word.
Have you heard from the president at all? Or is the speaker?
The president did call the speaker, I believe, last week, but I have not heard from the president.
And said what? Let's get together?
I don't think he said let's get together. I think he maybe talked a little about sequestration and then told the press that he called the speaker.
And that's the end?
That's all I have heard.
What do you think the American people think about this?
American people think this is crazy in the process. One, they think it's crazy that you spent more time trying to create hysteria, where you bring out the Secretary of Secretary of Transportation to say planes won't be flying, but the budget's going to be even $500 million more than it was in 2008, and planes flew fine then, and traffic was very high then. So why create that? I think what the people are saying is stop playing games, stop playing campaigns, get down and do the job that needs to be done.